Hey everybody. Today I am today for me and not for you. This was a few days ago for you. Was the eclipse, and I live in Georgia, so I had to do an eclipse animation, and I do think it's pretty freaking awesome because this eclipse animation is like I did an eclipse animation a few weeks back, and now this one is just like way better. The one thing that the major improvement that I can make right now is right now the way animations work, they're all linear, and it would be cool if I had like a circular animation, which if I did that, that would be way cooler because then I could be like, and I don't even know if this is gonna work. I probably should have tried this before I started the video, but like now I'm going to one, and I don't actually have Earth in my thing, so I don't even know. But five, and then you could see, like I could have an Earth, and you could see the moon rotating around the Earth, and that would be pretty badass, right? So, but this is cool. I don't actually even have an Earth on this because it really wasn't necessary for the animation that I wanted to achieve. Um, and I'm kind of proud because like today, it was like the clips of I was watching my wife kind of clicking through all her things that she's doing because she has a business and all that, and they all had like little animations of Eclipse. And my animation, I think I only saw like maybe one or two animations that were better than my animation for Eclipse. So, and they were probably using some application that cost them thousands of dollars. To build their little Eclipse animations. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely on the right path. So basically, I have one light, and that light is sitting at 000, and then I have two meshes: the sun mesh, which is sitting at 000, and the moon mesh, which is sitting at um, -1 on the x. So that's the starting x position for the in the context of animations. If it wasn't if it wasn't animated, then it would just be sitting there. And then the Z position is 2. So basically between the camera and that and the sun. So the camera is as per usual sitting at 5. So we're sitting at 5 position. The moon is sitting 3 away from us, and then the sun is 5 away from us. Um, so at the origin. So that is pretty cool. Obviously, those are not real to scale numbers. Um, like the sun is like way farther away. I think to scale, like between us and the moon would probably only be like 1 unit, and then between the moon and the sun would be like 5,000 units or 10,000 units, like some massive number, and it just wouldn't work because then I would have to make the sun just like enormous and all that. I mean, I think it's technically feasible, but and with this tool, but I don't know what the point would be. So in the animations, I got a shit show, but I have pause. I could pause, and then I can kind of move across and see we see like a real true moon looking thing and all that, and it's pretty cool. I think this is awesome. Like this is like literally the whole point in my mindset of being a programmer was is to do this stuff. Um, so I will mention that like I said, this is 5 days ago. I don't know, maybe 4 days ago, 5 days ago, something like that. It seems I'm gonna. So what I have been doing is uploading these to YouTube and then making a post on LinkedIn. Um, and one thing that's becoming very clear to me is that LinkedIn isn't really there. The people at LinkedIn are super technical, but they're not like technical at the ground level. Like they don't. Most of the people at LinkedIn don't actually write code and stuff like that. So these videos are pretty wasted on them, and it's just like a waste of time to post things there. I think for them, it's more like project managers and recruiters and account managers and stuff like that. So it's as long as they know that I make videos, I think that's all the information that they need. And so I do not to say that there aren't actually like very, very technical people on LinkedIn, but that's not that kind of platform. That platform is like for that sort of layer that's above the actual coders. Um, the 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 people that the VPs think code things. But so now to get to the code, um, basically we are in a transitional phase. Like last time, what I was pointing out was that I had gone down a path I normally wouldn't go down, so that I could demonstrate a uh, a memory leak. And since I don't go down that path, it's like I'm kind of like I went down a dark road that I've never been down before, and holy cow, has life gotten complicated. So I have a big mess that I'm trying to resolve, and the first step of that resolution, and what I would have done first, had I been my own person, was um, create a new component, and I don't understand why my package is, oh no, there it is. So in my package JSON, here, let me go. That's why I'm so confused. Uh, so in my package.json, this is the command that I ran for the compiler, or for the transpiler, or for the CLI, um, or the CLI, depending on where you're at. But basically, I just ran in npm run an animation prop, and then it executes this command. And I have mentioned a few times in a few other videos, basically the reason I do this is so I can be ensured that it uses the CLI that's in my node modules for this project. So if I had happened to have installed a, a different version of the CLI or whatever in um, on globally on my machine, this ensures that I use the one that's for this one. So you notice that there's a CLI. Let's see, I've always thought there was a CLI. Yeah, see, there's a CLI in the dev dependencies. So this ensured that it used 17.3.2, not some other version that was installed at some other time. So that's just an FYI. Like I said, no one probably has watched all my videos, so I guess I need to repeat that kind of stuff every once in a while. Um, so a lot of times I'll have like interface changes, but I did not. All the existing interfaces worked. All I was trying to do is so like if you go to this page, you just have a mess, and I'd kind of gone over like the bugs that are kind of happening, and this is still the old code, but I'm trying to migrate into using this new thing. Let me start with the animation item component. Yeah, items. So this is the component for the items. So you'll see that I brought in uh, this new animation property component, and I pass it in the display name. So that's well, I'll show you in a second. Pass in the display name, the property name, and the animation pairs that are applicable for this animation property. So, and this is not enough. There's actually, I need more information to build it. And that is one of the nice things about isolating things into their own components, is that you get a really good understanding of what's going on. So animation items component. What did we do in there? Okay, so yeah, I imported my new animation property component, and I changed this formatting. It was one line, now it's two lines, and that is it. That's all I did on this side. And then because this thing already knows everything that needs to be passed in, but now I think this is where things get interesting. Okay, I'm going to start with the HTML. So this is basically the HTML, and most of it's copied in. So you can see that I have my ID, my display name that gets passed. This is passed in, and information to display in here. So when I unpause it, see it's updating and all that. Now, let's see. Okay, so it is not obvious. This is not right on the Y, because I had to, well, you'll see. So anyways, this thing shows it, basically it has some functions. it gets this is well, and you know what? This is actually kind of a confusing thing. In that is going to be interesting. So yeah, whenever you get a signal, you have to you you the way you indicate that you have a signal is you make this a function, but you also can call functions. Um, and so in this case, this is a signal, this is a signal, animation pairs is a signal, but this is a function that we're calling. Uh, Now, in this specific situation, you can tell that it is a function because we're passing in an argument or a parameter, but you don't have to. So that is actually going to make this a little bit more confusing in the future for developers, especially for people who are trying to do pull requests reviews, to because they'll have a hard time distinguishing whether you're calling a signal or whether you're calling a function. In a lot of places, they do not like you to call functions in here. Um, and that is a whole rant that I could get into. But anyways, yeah, these are get start is going to get the start position, get in, and it's not position, the start property, this end property, and then this is going to get the current value. These two come from the item, or yeah, these two come from the actual item interface, and then this one comes from the actual 3 model. I don't think there's anything in here now. And then I'm not really doing these unit tests. And then here we go. So here's how you could tell it's a signal because it uses this function that returns a signal. Um, and so we get the display name, a property name, and animation pairs, right? So we saw the display name being used in the template. So get start basically it gets whatever the appropriate animation pair is for the ID that's passed in, and then this is interesting. So I get the property, the current property that we're trying to get. So we're either trying to get the X or the Y position. Um, Now when we get this property name, get property name, which is either XPOS or YPOS. Um, and this is where that is. It's XPOS or YPOS. Now these need to be moved. This type, these are types. They need to be moved into the interfaces, and I'll definitely do that today. And then um, the and then that will be nice because when I add new properties, new legal properties, we'll see a compile time error that will catch every place where this matters, except in the case of, let's see, this. It won't catch this one because we're actually, so if I were, because we're actually saying that it is an XPOS or YPOS. And I don't know that that's necessary now because getting because when I set that, I needed to do that. I needed to force that. Um, but so it's still complaining. It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't know that property name is an XPOS or YPOS. Um, this property name, even though up here, oh, yeah, okay, that's why. Okay, so let's try that while we're here. Let's try this. Instead of making this a string, let's say that this has to be, let's see, let's replace that with this. So basically we're trying to achieve strong typing so that as we grow, the compiler does as much work for us as possible. Okay, so now I've said, oh, we are out of time. I have an alarm going off. I do not think you can hear it. But there you go. I just turned it off. Okay, so now I think we don't have to do this. I think it'll know it's an X. Yep. So that's good. And see, this is exactly what you're trying to get to, right? Like sometimes while you're coding and you're just too deep into the weeds, you might just have to say this. But, this should give you sort of a little like, I don't know about that. Um, but, um, but this is way better, right? So at one point we're going to add a ZPOS and we're going to start adding other things. And when that happens, we're going to want it to break and find all the places that we need to update for our um, new property. And that tells us, and really more importantly, like I know that there's probably a way that you could actually just make it all just magically work, but um, it does is a good way so that when the developer comes in, they can actually just lay eyes on all the different pieces that need to be updated, so they could spend a couple minutes just doing an analysis that something didn't change. Let me undo that so we can keep having eclipses. Um, Now, one last thing is this get current is always returning the X position. So that's not good. That's not what we want. We want to get the Y position. And so then we need the position and X, but we're going to start um, doing we're going to start having other things other than position at some point. So that means I think I need to pass in whatever some sort of path or whatever the property is, and then whatever the sub property is, and and add the code to do that. And it's not going to be pretty at first, and we'll probably discover a better way to do it in the future. But you know, that's um, kind of a reality that we have to live with. Like I said, I think some developers might decide, oh, I'm going to come up with this sort of rule to that sort of describes everything, and it's all in lookup tables and stuff like that. And I am more of a, I really, I think those are very interesting and fun. Like when I go to a place and somebody has kind of created this huge, beautiful puzzle, beautiful mind sort of puzzle that has all these sorts of things all embedded in it, and you've got to go through 8 layers of abstraction to try to figure them out. I mean, I generally enjoy that experience, but it is extremely time consuming and confusing, and can, if you don't guess all the different pieces correctly, can be insanely fragile. Anyways, I've done a lot of ranting, but you can't blame me because eclipses make people weird. So happy coding, everybody. Happy Eclipse Day. Bye.